where last we left our heroes, you guys had received the Codicil of White out of the dungeons of Grimscal, uh, and have stepped back outside and are, well, waiting to see what you do next.
I
What
would
is it
say
that...
perhaps we must find a place where I can read through this cortisil and perhaps interpret some important data from within it.
I
would
would
imagine.
suggest that we get out of this area and get ourselves over to one of the towns.
Precisely my idea
exactly.
too. We should get off this island while we can before anything else happens.
Before we really die.
That is also a possibility.
All right. So, the group of you makes your way across the island, back towards the dock that you arrived at. However, you see no whale awaiting you.
Is there a bell? I look around for the way that we called him the first time.
No, there is no bell on this end.
Damn, bruh. Was it that, knew the process for this when we first came out here? Was it Valine? Was she the one that, was advising us on how to get the whale? Did we just figure it out? I can't remember.
The question I have for the GM is, can we actually see those, what I'm assuming are whaling boats, off in the distance?
Yeah, you can see those.
Wayfo's going to try to flag one down. Yup.
Boy, here we go again.
Yo, taxi!
Turns out they're all pirates and we fucking die.
I'm perfectly okay with that.
He's come to accept his peace.
It is a sacrifice that I am willing to make.
So you wave at it and wait.
Oh, it's
and...
it's more than waving. I'm full on doing dancing lights and casting light and shit like that from the ring.
I'm gonna look over to Beltram. Is he always like this?
Yes, quite frequently. It's a syndrome of some sorts, and we let it run its course.
Okay.
I'm gonna
You're an
cast
odd
like a
fellow.
minor. I'm gonna cast a minor illusion over the top of us. It's a cantrip. I could just make it like a ball of like green or blue light, thing that would appear out of the ordinary.
Or just a really huge ball sack hanging down. Like we're
That
just
would
getting
appear out of the
teabagged.
ordinary,
Yeah. He'll be like, hey, look at those idiots getting teabagged over there.
Yeah.
We
Idiots
should
are
go over there and
teabagging
check it out.
themselves.
So after a few moments of Wayfo's dancing around, you see a familiar figure step out from behind some ice drifts. The ice
mama.
mephit Sapa
Oh.
has shown up,
Huh.
laughing at
Old
Wayfo
companion.
just a little bit.
And, well, does Wayfo notice?
Give me a perception check. No, you do not.
But here's the question. Does Dalar notice and tell Wayfo?
The voices in his head are effective.
I'm going to say since it was a 1, no. No,
Okay.
the Dalar in your head does not notice.
Even if he Dalar noticed it, only Wayfo would be hearing Dalar telling him about it.
Yeah.
Jenks and Biltram do notice.
Okay.
What is that thing?
Soppa, a guide of ours at one point.
Wait, you guys didn't just follow the pathway up to the Grimskull?
We took a tour of sorts of the island, and well, it was a good time. There was quite a few things to see, so I suppose this was worth it.
I see.
Speaking of which, why is it that you found yourself here?
I had come initially to talk to Arl, but I was too late, and her being dealt with also works.
Very well.
Soppa points at one of the boats and, with his hands, makes a motion that is vaguely reminiscent of the Titanic hitting the iceberg. You gather from it that all of the ships stuck out there are, well, stuck out there and have been for quite some time.
And I will use basically crude sign language, since that seems to be the way that we can communicate at the moment. And basically try to get him to understand we need to get back onto the mainland. Does he have a way to do so?
Give me a intelligence check. Let's see how good your sign language is here.
And I'm also sharing one of my rations with him.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligente. Let's see. Big money, no whammy. Oh yeah!
Oh my god. When do you learn
Dude,
sign language?
I have just created fucking ice method sign language, alright?
Man, developed the language on the spot.
Well, I mean, he is Warforged, so, you know.
This
he
is the
he learns
greatest-
things.
This is the greatest scientific discovery since the Austin.
Oh well.
I just about shit in Austin after seeing that.
Oh god, I remember that.
Your lucky day.
Have we ever explained that one to you, Jacob?
I think Brandon did a while ago.
Yeah.
I think I probably did.
Yeah. That.
His character actually figured out how to make bricks.
Yeah.
For building.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's like a gnome tinker, and he actually figured out how to make bricks out of mud. Started building some out
okay.
and called it the Austin.
That's pretty good.
It's a very Austin thing, dude, to do, to be fair.
It was.
Invent sign language? Yeah. Sounds like it.
Soppa takes flight and disappears into the clouds and snow.
Well, it appears that in method sign language you may have said something to offend him.
He's coming back, right? He's not gonna leave us?
Only hope he's not fetching that giant winged creature we saw atop Grimskull.
Yeah, so Wayfo just starts signing to them. In explanation.
That fucking one!
Do you have any idea what he's saying?
What the hell?
I'm pretty sure rolling in that one on sign language means you're just holding up your middle finger to them.
Is he just...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That was my saving throw to not, like, turn around and actually just start talking to them. It's like, no, he got into the zone with the sign language so much. He just turns around and just continues to do the sign language to the rest of them to explain what's going on.
He just can't speak.
Are those gang signs? Where is he from?
I'm not sure if he's threatening us or what that is. I'm not sure.
Wayfo's just going to look annoyed and then just start doing more exaggerated signs faster.
Is he normally this erratic? This is getting a little out of hand.
It's usually a bit more manageable, we'll say, than this, but this isn't exactly out of the ordinary. And I'll be saying all this with like my head kind of cocked sideways at him, like trying to figure out what's happening.
Can Warforged
Taylor.
have strokes?
Can you help them understand?
Ilar's gone, friend.
No, he's right here. He was gone a little while ago.
Very well. I'll turn to Jenkins and say, I believe he may be beyond hope. I am not sure that there's any way we can fix him.
Perhaps the loss of his friend was more traumatic than you might have expected. Yes.
Perhaps. Nevertheless, pondering the turning of cogs in the Warforged head, I don't think it will get us out of here any more swiftly than we had desired.
Well, the ice method will be coming back.
Do you hope so?
He has a solution that will help us.
If you say so.
I did not say so. He did.
Oh. Well, if he says so.
What did he say to you? I ask.
That he had an idea.
I suppose with Oral being gone, we are in no greater rush, I suppose.
Nor are we in any serious danger.
Not immediately, though. A place like this, I would not be surprised if danger were to come and find us at some point.
I understand your concern.
I am perfectly content to wait for a while longer if you think that it will benefit us. We're putting our lives in your hands, man.
So
Your cold wooden hands.
Yeah.
Metal. They're metal.
Your metallic wooden hands.
So it's about 6 hours later that since the ice method set out. And
Can I build an igloo within that time? With the 20?
you probably have a good start on an igloo, but it's probably not quite finished yet. Not if you want it to be any substantial size.
No, it's definitely got to be a substantial size.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still working on it. It's maybe like shoulder height right now.
So it's at least a good windbreak for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, then while we're waiting, I will be studying the codicil.
Okay.
Just to see if it has anything important to say. No worries, we can talk about that later if you want.
I think it has something. I just need to find where it's at.
I'm predominantly, like, initially just looking for data about where we can find the Netherese city.
Well, I thought I had a thing for that. Apparently I don't. I will find that in a bit then.
worries.
So, can I get a perception check from everyone?
Should I roll an extra one for Dalar?
No, just one for you is fine.
Whatever.
Just moved his die, bro.
Yes, but I got a nat 20.
Nothing else matters. You got it, punk.
Right?
So, Weifo, you see a small ship come sailing through the fog and the clouds. Up to the dock.
Hello. I will go out and greet it.
As you do so, Sapa hops off the boat and back onto the dock.
I will greet my little friend in our new sign language.
Well, a friend tells me you need a ride.
Indeed. We could use a ride back to the mainland. Grimskull is no more.
Yeah, look up at this hill. I can see it's changed since the last time I floated past.
Arl is also no more. She has been
Interesting.
causing the terrible weather out here.
Well, how many of there are you? Four? Four of you?
Yes, yeah, because we have
About
four
that.
with us. Yes, there's four.
Yes. Shall we say 100 gold pieces for the lot of you, and you can ride along with us towards Revel's End?
I think that's reasonable. And Waypo will hand him 100 gold.
All right, very well.
I'm not sure that I
So that would be what, 1,000 silver?
did 100 per. Is that right?
No, he said 100 for the lot of us.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
okay,
the
cool.
lot? Okay.
Oh, okay. Yes, deal. I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd buy that for $1.
Waypo's like, we don't currently have transportation off this fucking island, so unless we want to make the igloo our new home,
Whatever it takes.
exactly,
any
$1,000
cost.
for the transport. Okay.
I guess you got us in
We
a...
could just kill them and take the ship.
Well,
Murder
I'm
hoboing
just
is
kidding.
always an option.
may I point out the foolishness of that idea?
Oh, no,
You may
don't
point
have
it
to.
out, but I
You
may not
have-
listen.
You have
Just
them
kidding.
get you to the port where you want to go, then murder hobo them. That way you don't have to figure out how to pilot a ship.
Can't be that hard. I mean,
It can be.
It's genius.
that's fine if you just wing it. I'm sure you'll be fine. There's only a few icebergs you can hit here that'll crash you.
Yeah.
Like 6. Sure, it'll be fine.
That would be quite the end of this campaign. You know, you slay
Oh, we
Arl
all
and then
die.
you drown in the
The
sea of
icy-
moving ice.
Just stand there like with a fucking salute as you go down.
Jack hanging on to the
Fucking pole on
Bennett
top.
door or whatever that fucking thing is. Yeah,
Fortunately,
that.
that does not happen. You guys climb aboard the ship and they sail you over towards Revel's End. Takes about a day and a
like
half for them to
to-
get there.
Huzzah!
I was gonna say I would like to ask how the hell Sapa got them to come get us. I'm just gonna ask the captain, like, were you guys just sailing by when Sapa flew over and was like, "Hey, come here"? Like, happened.
And he's
You
like,
want to make some money?
yeah, pretty much that was it. Yeah, he caught
This
us
is
as we
quite
were
surprising.
sailing, convinced us that you would be willing to pay for a ride off. So we decided we wanted to make a little extra coin.
Excellent.
Do you speak Ice Method?
Not natively, but we have a druid with abilities to speak with elementals.
Well, does Safa wish to come along with us?
No, he elects to remain on the island.
Okay. Well, before we take off, then I will be signing to him. You know, big love,
Love you, my child.
my little ice method brother, and then give him our new cool secret handshake.
All right.
Then old Sapa says, "Peace and love, brother." Chew on the flippity flop.
And then we both flash west side. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah, boy.
Represent.
Ice method love. Dun, dun, dun. Well, it looks like the closest town for us is going to be Lonelywood,
Probably.
which also sounds like the title of "Oh Y'all Sex Tape." Anyhow.
Oh.
Uh,
Wait, I'm the only single guy here. Fuck.
Hey man, it's overrated. Don't worry about it. That's the real reason why I go away to training is so I can catch a break. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like George Burns and Gracie Allen once said, "Marriage, it's the great American institution, but who wants to live in an institution?"
Pretty good.
All right, so you guys arrive in Revel's End, get off the ship, enjoy a rest, and then depart across the open wilderness for Lonelywood.
And where was it that we left our puppies? We had puppies somewhere. Was it in Bryn Shander?
I think we left them in Bryn Shander.
That sounds right. I don't remember for sure, but Bryn Shander makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. It's the last of the bigger towns. Well, that and Targus.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck Targus. They were never friendly to us. Bryn Shander all the way, man.
Targus is too Fargus to save.
They are.
Is Targus one of the towns that got blown up by the dragon?
No, that was just one of the ones that we would have traded Dugan's Hole and Good Mead for.
Yeah, exactly.
We would have pointed the dragon over and been like, "Fuck up Targus, leave Dugan's Hole and Good Mead the fuck alone." Good Mead is called Good Mead for a damn good reason. Don't. Oh man, they destroyed it. Fuck.
You know, the
So
real
much for that,
question
dude.
is did Lithodef survive the East Haven attack? We don't know yet.
There's only one way to find out.
That's a very important part of the meta game going on here. That has to be discovered.
Yeah, this is true.
That man is literally immortal. I don't think he can die.
We can go check it out, man. Tell me. What if, As a quick side note, out of game, I know we're heading to Lonelywood. We made it to Revel's End. That's cool. We got to trek across the wilderness. Did we ever do the quest over here at Dark Duchess? Because wasn't that where the group of dwarves was going? Or was it Goliaths? I don't remember. I think it was the Goliaths were going to Dark Duchess or something. I don't think we ever did that quest, but...
I think there was mention of there may be treasure there.
Okay.
Well, there was also Engajuk's Bell. What was up with that?
That's where you got on the whale.
Is where we summoned the whale.
Ah, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, you were gone the week that we visited there, but the party has been there.
Yeah, that's the bell is what summoned the whale that got us to Grimskull Island.
Yeah. With curiosity, when we got there's another curious question. When we were in the basement and we did all those quests, you said we found like treasure and stuff. Is that right?
Mostly money and then those stuff like that axe.
Yeah, there wasn't really much for treasure.
It was more loot. Like we got, we put what 3,000 silver and 4,000 copper into my bag of holding.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was a lot.
Because I have no money, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys had enough to buy resources and stuff like that. Because I am poor as a dog, man.
Yeah, Jenkins has quite a lot of money now with that because he has a bag of holding that he can just toss it all into.
Okay, cool. Right, so we get to Revel's End, which is the prison colony thing.
Yes.
And then we just depart. I'm assuming there's nothing that we need to do in Revel's End before we get going, right, guys? We rest up here and then get moving.
Yeah, I figured just to rest and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
So what time of day is it when we arrive at Revel's End anyway?
It's probably evening.
So just take a long rest there.
Yeah, let's take a long rest and head out.
I'm going to, before I hit the sack, out of just pure curiosity, because that's what I do, is walk around the cells with the Professor Orb, Professor Scant. Just ask him if he recognizes anybody important.
I'll be right back, guys. Heard a noise downstairs.
He recognizes some of the people, makes comments about them and stuff. None of it seems particularly important, though. It's, oh, I recognize this person, or I heard the story about how this person got, arrested and whatnot.
Oh. Little cultural experience?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I will head to bed then whenever my curiosities are satisfied.
I did find the handout that I was meaning to give you on the bit that catches your eyes on within the codicil.
Cool.
There's my show. One of the pages in there is a poem that catches your eye. But you guys rest up, hit the road in the morning. Can I get a D8 from somebody? And a D20?
Oh, somebody else get the D20.
Let me do it real quick. Hold on. D20.
Let's see.
Interesting poem.
And can I get a D6?
Okay, I'll do that one since Scott's doing stuff.
Chance, does it happen to mention who wrote that poem, or is it just kind of like in the pages?
It's just written on one of the pages within the codicil.
Okay.
I'm back.
Hey.
Welcome back.
This is something that was in the codicil?
Yes. And one of the pages that has caught Biltram's eye while he was reading.
Aha.
I'm not sure that it presents too much pertinent information, but it is an interesting read.
So as you guys are making your way south towards Lonely Wood, off in the distance at one point you see a herd of giant mammoths.
Aww.
You reckon those are in the wild, or are they part of a traveling group?
There's only one way to find out.
Hey, I'll roll a nature check real quick and see if I know whether or not roaming mammoth herds are a normal occurrence in the north. Oh my god.
Taylor says he would like to go over closer so that he can study them. Maybe he'll be able to turn into one day.
Just be careful. Don't get squashed.
Oh, he'll be fine. I'll go with him.
Oh, dear God.
Since we're here, I suppose we might as well go and observe. I'll just keep following as Wayfo shifts the direction of our group towards the fucking mammoths.
Yeah, Wayfo is going to keep his distance, but, he's going to approach them in a non-threatening nature, in a non-threatening way. If
All
he
right.
notices them getting, skittish or nervous at all, he'll stop where he's at. But basically trying to get closer so that he can get a better look to see what's with them.
As you're getting close, one of the mammoths sees you, lets out a loud trumpet, and the herd of mammoths begins charging away from you.
Aw.
It's away, thank God.
A couple moments later, you see a group of humans get up out of the snow, some distance behind where the mammoths were, walking
Just
your
fucked
way.
up their hunt.
Yeah, sounds like it.
They don't look too happy.
Wayfo will raise a hand and wave. Hello.
We're so close to getting them. You scared them
I
away.
was just
Why?
so incredibly sorry. We thought it was just a roaming herd. We didn't think that there would be people out here.
Perhaps we can help
Many
you
apologies.
to catch one.
I mean, if you want to try, you can. It took us 8 hours to get as close as we did.
Okay. Wayfo's like, he's gonna help him. No idea what he needs to do, but he's like, I'm ready. What do we do?
Oh, step 1 would be to catch up to the mammoths.
Okay. With his 45-foot movement speed, he's like,
Jeez. It's
Well,
fast.
being that they have a 40-foot move speed, you're catching up, but not terribly quickly.
and I'm assuming that we've lost another level of exhaustion.
Yeah,
from the
your
day-and-a-half boat trip.
your last rest would have knocked off a level of that.
We're doing fine.
Speak for yourself. I'm still at exhaustion too.
I don't know what I'm at actually. I didn't even look.
All right, you're at exhaustion too, so your speed's still halved.
Oh, is it? It's half?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you think you can go catch up to these mammoths, but you're still quite tired, and they're getting further away from you.
Oh.
Well, that's no good. And I will apologize to the group of humans. Explain to them that apparently I'm still recovering from being caught in the middle of a blizzard a couple of days ago. And I have not fully recovered.
He's tired.
See, how far away are they from us, the mammoths?
By this point, they're probably about 1,000 feet away, and beginning to fade out of sight.
Suppose perhaps instead of chasing with haste, we should resort to a more tactful option and try to stay on them for the long term. They too must to stops and grazing lands at some point, I would assume.
I would think logically what we should do is follow them, but on a parallel course so that they don't feel that they're being chased. Then it's possible that when we can pass them, we could hook around, startle them, and drive them back up towards the hunters up here.
I like the probabilities of that. What I would say is I can also offer my services by, if someone has the energy to carry me or to carry me on their back slowly as we travel alongside the mammoths, I could summon flying familiar to tail them so we can see perhaps where they will settle for the evening or where they go to take water.
Yeah, I could do that.
And summon I shall. If I can, like, there's a way that I could be on his back, like doing the bit of back riding, or since I am very small, I could just sit in a backpack or something. I could conjure the familiar, and I would conjure like a snow owl to tail the herd.
Well, Waitho's got a fairly full pack, but I don't think it would be unreasonable for you to basically be draped across the bedroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Beltram's small enough that something like that could work for sure.
Could just basically strap you in so that you don't fall.
Sick. Sounds like a foolproof plan. I don't think there's any way this could fail.
Not at all.
Nah.
I believe 100%.
Alright, so you guys get on your way with that.
Roll this just so that it takes the spell slot off, just so I remember.
Yep. And remind me, what was the form of your familiar?
I was just gonna conjure like a white owl, a snow owl.
Okay,
make
yeah.
White and get up there behind them.
Perfect.
Follow the herd around.
So.
I mean, hell, you might be able to startle them with the familiar.
That is true. I could perhaps fly it down in front of them and see if I could
Scare them back into us.
Off. So, I can try. The familiar, technically, it obeys my commands, acts of its own accord, and I just see through its eyes. Senses. I'm guessing I could do that.
Yeah, give me a intimidation check with your howl. I don't think an owl's got any charisma modifiers, so it's probably a straight D20.
Okay, I can roll that. Let's roll a 20.
Yeah. Oh no, it's actually got a minus 2. So,
So it flies overhead, lands on top of one of them. They're like, "Hello,
hello, friend."
you friend is good."
Right.
So, not particularly intimidating. The mammoths don't seem to care that the owl's flying about them. Perhaps this is something that they, they're used to seeing owls.
Would make sense.
But after a couple hours of tracking them, they do seem to come to a stop, slow down and whatnot.
Okay, we'll let the group of humans know what our strategy is, of course, as we're headed out. That way, you know, they're not like sitting down to dinner and all of a sudden here comes this stampeding herd of mammoths right across them. They're like, those fucking people. I know they did it. They just have it in for us.
The
Assholes.
whole plan all along was to just fucking get them killed by the herd of mammoths.
Have you ever burned down a tavern? No. Have you ever killed an entire community of humans with a fucking herd of mammoths? Wait, what?
That's what I thought.
So yeah, we will attempt to head down past them, hook around, and come up, attempting to startle them.
Okay.
What are the parameters of this trek? Is this like a several mile expanse that we're crossing here, or?
Yeah, several miles over the course of several hours.
Okay.
Worth it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see these fucking mammoths die.
Jesus.
We are doing God's work.
Yeah. The land must be cleansed.
That was like really, really close to a Hannibal Lecter impersonation there.
Yeah.
How many times?
Yep, just go full Hannibal. As my character gets more intelligent and levels up higher in wizardry, he just becomes more like Hannibal Lecter as time goes on.
So you guys sneak around and startle them from the other side. Yeah, the hunters had positioned themselves strategically based off of your plans. So you startle them, they start running back the other way, straight into the hunters' ambush at this point.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Several
According to plan.
several spears are thrown, other weapons used, and they actually do manage to down one of the beasts.
Nice.
We will come up and celebrate with them.
Casts fireball and burns the beast.
Cast fireball and gets it cooked.
There will
Then the
be
ruins-
no survivals.
Yeah. This ruins all the meat. Or all the fur on the thing.
Torched off.
That'd be bad. Yeah.
That'll be some nice cooked meat.
Yep. Whole roast for the whole group. Nah, just kidding. We just walk up there and I will ask if there's any assistance that I may provide to aid in the process of collecting the beast.
And they say that they've pretty well got it covered, and it's not their first time butchering a mammoth.
And I will share with them my dwarven spirits.
Kind.
They politely decline, saying that they've been a much longer day than already anticipated. They'd like to just butcher their beast and get back to their camp, or at least make their way that direction.
Where may we ask is your camp, if we may? It's out of curiosity.
Yes, we will need to find a place to rest as well soon. We are attempting to make our way down to Lonelywood.
They give you approximate directions to the camp. It's about 5 miles southeast.
Would we be allowed to share your fire?
Just instantly like, no, you guys have been enough trouble today.
We probably won't make it all the way back there tonight.
What if we assist?
I look at the up at the sky. The sun's about to set. I'd prefer not to march through the night. We'll butcher this, maybe walk a mile and call it good for the night. Walk the rest of the way in the morning. Even with your help, I think we would not make it back in time.
I see. Well, then we wish you well.
And you, appreciate your sticking around long enough to help.
It was our fault that you did not get them to begin with. It's only the right thing to do.
Indeed.
We must help one another out in the wild. It is the way.
We all just say it is the way because we're becoming the Mandalorian.
So they go about butchering the beast and loading it onto sacks that they begin dragging behind them, and they head out, and you guys head your own way.
Oh yeah. We gotta find ourselves a good camp area.
At least some kind of flatland, yeah, would be nice.
Well, for flatland, there is a big ass river that we kind of have already crossed, and we could probably just mosey right down along, because I'm fairly certain it is frozen completely solid.
Yeah, actually, you're probably not wrong. We could at least try to find, I can roll a nature, but I was about to say we could at least try to find somewhere that's along the flat that has a bit of a ridge or something that would help block, windage and that kind of stuff, rather than just being out on the tops,
Yes, this would be a good idea.
You want survival or nature? Probably nature, right?
Survival would probably be for
yeah.
this sort of thing.
I will assist.
Hell yeah. You're gonna assist? Alright, let's go for that 25 then. Let's do this. Oh, baby, we still went up.
Slight improvement still.
Yeah.
So you guys make it a mile and a half, and you find this beautiful outcropping that you're able to set up under. You maybe wouldn't quite call it a cave, but it's pretty well sheltered from on most sides, enough to keep you out of the wind for sure.
Sweet. Get a fire going. We'll be just peachy keen.
Mm-hmm.
Up some filet oral. Collect any oral meat when we're there.
No, she turned into a ice cube pretty much for
That's
the.
right, she
the
did. She
last
turned into a
form.
crystalline. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Hard to eat.
No feasting on demigods this time.
Bummer.
Damn, that's saddening.
But yeah, I'm assuming we should just take our regular rotations. Wayfo will take first watch.
I agree with this plan.
I'll take second.
So that leaves me with third. Means I'm gonna wake up early, basically, is all that means.
Basically.
Oh, all right.
I'm gonna do my. Oh. So I'll wait to roll the long rest until we know that we actually get to rest.
Yeah. So the entire night goes by without a hitch. Nice quiet evening. In your little shelter area.
Yay!
Sweet dreams and such, I hope.
They're made of these.
Been hitting a lot of good one-liners tonight.
There have been a few.
Yeah.
So you guys get up and begin or continue your march back to town. It takes you the entire day getting in after the sun has set. But you do arrive once again back in Lonelywood.
Ah,
Home Sweet Home, basically.
something like that. He liar.
There we go. Okay, so for those of you who may not remember, this is a town where it doesn't have a proper inn, but you can rent out, floor space in the attic of the speaker's house.
Right, yeah. Remember that now.
Yes, yes.
Or your characters would, have this in mind. There's a certain wizard in town who for sure is no longer alive that had a house. Assuming
true.
the town has not repossessed it or anything of the such yet.
Yeah, we could claim it.
There you go.
We should.
It's given to us in the will by rights.
In this world, you take what you kill.
Yeah. You keep what you kill.
Yeah.
So
that's the line. Keep what you kill.
Yeah, good old Riddick, man. Been a while.
So you guys go there. The door is locked, but you're able to find a window that's pretty well loose. You're able to pop it open and climb inside and open up the door.
Sweet.
This is what we have devolved to. It's just
Well, if you think about it, though,
B&E.
but if you think about it, Wei-So is lawful neutral, right?
Yeah, so am I think. If I remember correctly, yeah.
So he wouldn't be doing this unless he felt that this was actually legal. And having lived in 10 towns, he understands that their laws are a little different than the rest of society's. So he's just like, yeah, this is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that's honestly, I feel like the only reason why anyone here would complain, now that I'm thinking about it, is just because they would want the house for themselves,
Pretty much.
Especially since half of 10 towns has been destroyed at this point.
So yeah, I think the first thing we should do is thoroughly go through the house to check out our new possessions and see if there's anything out of the ordinary.
Check out the new digs.
Yeah.
While we're doing that, I'll be right back.
Yeah, so take a look around. You find several things that you wouldn't find in any other house around here at the very least. There's a moderately sized library. Contains a variety of books, largely related to magic, but not necessarily like, spell books or anything like that.
More like magic theory and such.
Yeah, magic theory, history, philosophy of magic, notes on study.
All nice documents that, for me, I would happy to see these. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say Piltram's got a little chub going on right now.
Yeah, definitely the kind of thing Biltram would look at and be like, ooh, reading material. I'm lacking some of that.
Sweet, yeah. This will help for my dissertation when I get back home.
The rest of the house is rather plain, but cleanly kept, other than a thin layer of dust that's likely accumulated since Nas left.
Oh, Wayfo's going to get to work on that.
You're gonna clean the place up.
Absolutely. Clean it up, get a fire lit. Maybe
Well,
start
yeah,
up,
in that
maybe
case-
start up some dinner for, those who eat.
Right. Say if we're making a weekend of it, then yeah, we can do that. I'll get to studying. I think aside from all of the interesting bits of literature and that kind of stuff, I'll also be keeping my eyes out for any new spells to learn, or perhaps details or clues as to get into the city that we've been looking for and that kind of stuff. But I'm fine with making a bit of time out of this and doing some studying. I'll use the professor orb for my benefit.
Yeah, so give me another investigation check with advantage as you're reading through this material, looking for specific bits of detail that you're wanting.
Oh, dang. I'm too distracted with all the great, philosophical and historical details of the magic.
Well, Wayfo's probably distracting you with his humming while he's cleaning.
How that too.
And his occasional conversation with Dalar.
It's okay. With the Professor Orb's help, you do find some notes that seem to indicate where the Lost Netherese city, or at least the entrance to the cave that might contain it, might be located.
Sweet.
Yeah, you find the description of a cave entrance sealed by ice on the face of the Reghead Glacier far to the northeast.
Boy. And sealed with ice on the Raghead Glacier. We can get there and do that. I'm going to communicate the discovery to the team.
Okay. Sounds like something for us to check out after we rest up for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, after Wayfo gets the house in order, he is going to perform a long rest for himself. Get rid of that last piece of exhaustion. And then the next day, while the rest of the party focuses on, taking it easy. They've worked really hard. Wayfo is going to go to the speaker's house to claim that house. And
I'll go with you.
basically make it official.
I'll go with them to help out.
Gonna pay off the old back taxes and keep the place for ourselves. I like it.
So yeah, first thing in the morning, you guys head over to the speaker's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give a little rap on the door.
And after a few moments, the door opens. The town speaker, Nimsy, opens the door. Good morning, you fine folk. It's been a while since I've seen your faces.
Good morning, Speaker Nimsy. I hope this day finds you well.
Oh, can't complain, I suppose. What can I do for you?
We are here to make claim. And
Make
I
claim
will,
to what?
and Weifo
Ow.
will
I'm just
describe the house at the northern end of the town, nestled in among the trees, etc.
NASA's abode.
Former.
She sold it to you?
More like willed it. She is no longer on this plane of existence. She has moved on.
Ah, I see. Do you have anything just to show that this is the case?
Ooh, do we? Outside of gaming.
Outside of gaming, I would say I don't think we do. I think the only thing that we took from NASA's body was the Professor Orb. Which, I mean, maybe we could use that as a way to convince them. Like, hey, this is a magical oracle that knows everything, and well, not everything, but a lot of stuff, you know.
How exactly do you want us to prove somebody is dead?
Yeah,
Well,
and outside of gaming, how exactly did she die?
Here's the one that froze to death. Remember, we
I
found her in
think
the ice.
so.
Right?
yeah, you guys found her frozen body on the island of Solstice.
She was
Gotcha.
holding
Okay.
the orb in her hand, and I picked it up with Mage Hand, and then the ghost attacked us.
Yes.
Okay. So I will explain all that to Speaker Nimsy. Literally telling the tale of the situation.
Okay.
And that, for anybody who wishes, they can go out there and view her body. I will not include the whole holding the orb thing and all that.
Just casually recommend people to go out and visit the island of Solstice.
I mean,
Sounds like a very Wayfo thing to do.
yeah.
Yeah. Totally normal.
I mean, I suppose we could always go out there and break off her hand and bring it back if you wish, or
Bring
or
her
her
dead
head,
body back.
or her head if that would be more sufficient. I really don't know what your requirements are.
Well, our biggest concern here is before we figure out what to do with someone's property if they've died, we want to make sure that they're actually dead and not just missing or
I fully
away for a
understand
term.
There were 4 separate witnesses who can identify her corpse. At least 4, maybe more.
And are all of these witnesses here in your party?
Yes.
You'll have to excuse me if I have just a degree of doubt about that. I mean, you could have all uh, solidified your stories and made something up. I have no way of knowing.
I can fully understand that.
Unfortunately,
What exactly would you need that would help to alleviate your concerns?
well, either her dead body or some legal document giving you ownership of the property. Otherwise, if neither of those exist, NAS still retains ownership until the property is deemed abandoned, which we typically do at 6 months to a year, depending on the place. And at that point, it goes up for auction around town, and anybody's game at that point.
Fair enough. And outside gaming, where is the island of Solstice again? Or is that where we just came from?
That's where you just came from.
That was where Grim's Skull is on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think it's like way up north or something like that, like north in the sea.
Yeah, in the sea of moving ice.
Yeah.
And so Weifo is just going to say, but your rules on squatting, if the home is abandoned, are the same as the rest of 10 towns, yes?
Uh, we do arrest people for trespassing.
But how do you
Uh,
know that Nass wouldn't mind if we stayed there if she's not there? What if she's okay with that?
And we have access to the place. In fact, I spent all of last night cleaning it back up. She left it quite a mess.
Oh, so she gave you a key then?
Yes.
give, give me a deception check on that.
Right after I sit back down. Well, we have access, so she gave you a key then. And it's just
Oh,
dead
holy
silent.
shit.
It's a good thing I'm really charismatic.
Jenkins should have just handled this entire thing on his own and just been like,
Oh,
"No,
there's a reason I came
seriously,
along.
Ness
I was
is
there for
my
backup.
auntie."
God damn. That's funny.
He glares at Jenkins for a moment, before responding. Well, if she gave you a key, I mean, she must allow you to stay there. If she has died since giving you that key, I can't sign over ownership of any building until the previously discussed requirements are met.
Understood. You have to have verification of her demise.
But I will make note in town record that you have the key and are her guests. Your occupancy won't count towards her, whether or not she's counted as missing or the property is considered abandoned or not. So,
Well, and if there's any payments that need to be made in the interim until such time that it can be proved that she has passed on, we will be happy to continue to make payments. For property tax, etc.
Of
Whatever
course.
dues that the town may have.
Of course, we'll deliver any notices of such owed to the house still, and whether it's you or her that are there to receive it and pay for it. Well, that is
Yes.
between you and her.
That sounds splendid.
And being sort of a odd situation that you've brought to me, I would just ask that you, if you are staying there, take care of it. We will consider it property damage and arrest you on behalf of Nass if there's
No,
any
of course
funny
not.
business.
Fully understood.
I would hope you wouldn't have any problem with that. I just have to say that just as a disclaimer. We had one person who did something terrible to a house he was staying in years ago, and it was a whole legal mess. We just don't want that to happen again.
I can fully understand that. And we have no intentions of doing so, especially since it is technically our home. Well, thank you very much for all of your assistance, Speaker Nimsy. I hope you have a wonderful day.
And you as well.
And after we leave the speaker's house, Wayfo's going to look over at Jenkins and go, "Do you think that there's a locksmith somewhere in town?"
If not here, then most certainly in one of the other towns for sure.
Yes, but it would be nice if we could actually get somebody local that could come over and fix the broken lock.
That is true, but we also don't want to raise suspicion. What if the locksmith talks to the speaker?
My thought is that the lock should be broken after we get home. It's currently functioning perfectly.
I see.
So they could repair it and then make us a new key, especially if we should happen to take some bits of metal and place it inside the lock to make it look like the key broke.
Yes, I suppose as long as we could maybe forge ourselves a very crude key and stick it in there and then break it off at the handle.
Something like that. Yes.
That would be enough that he wouldn't question it. He might assume that the old lock was rusted and it's in Nass's absence.
Indeed. And while I do not care to do things in a nefarious fashion, the home should be ours. It is just simply a technical situation where we have to make quite a trip just to be able to prove it.
It's only a matter of time.
So, in this situation, I feel that perhaps giving the speaker some comfort over the illusion that what we have said is completely accurate would be more beneficial to us at this time.
Yes, that makes sense. That'll probably for the best to make things easier down the road anyway.
True. Well, I will leave that in your good hands. You seem to be quite skilled.
Yes, I can go around town and see if I can I'll see if I can find a blacksmith to come and help with that if you want to get the key or get the lock all ready for him.
Very well.
So I'll go head back to town and start looking around for a local locksmith.
And Weifo will go back to home and tell Biltram the situation, and then basically stand there looking at the lock going, do you know how to make a key that we can break?
I don't think Jacob's here, unfortunately. He's BRBing again.
Oh, well, there is that.
Sleeping on the job!
Well, in that case, I'm
But
going to
Biltram-
BRB too.
Put Piltram in the lock.
Ooh, that's an idea. We break the Biltram. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get some more water. I like boobs. Oh, and Brandon,
Yeah.
you totally know that Wayfo said yes, that all four of the people were in the party because he was actually thinking of his imaginary friend.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh no. Don't want us to see all the witnesses.
Right? It's like, and this witness right here is Dalar. What? Right here, next to me. There's nobody next to you. No, Dalar, he's right here. Gotcha. So you're a little fucked in the head is what you're saying, huh? So let me get this straight, Mickey. You're saying that you want to divorce Minnie Mouse on the grounds of insanity? Oh, I never said that she was insane. I said she was fucking goofy.
I haven't heard that one in a while. That's a pretty good one.
Damn, Jacob, what you doing, man? Like dropping a mad deuce or what?
Something.
Well, now that I have Linux set up as a subsystem inside of Windows, I at least have something to do while I wait. Like, upgrade and patch everything.
Yeah.
Although I find it really annoying. They have decided in their infinite wisdom that WSL is to use NAT instead of bridged. And so having Kali Linux is pretty much useless. Like, I have it set up now. I mean, I could even pull up an entire GUI and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do any pen testing. Because it's set up in its own private network, basically.
Yeah.
Because of the NAT. I mean, I suppose I could remotely do pen testing, but I believe that's known as illegal.
It's usually frowned upon.
Mm-hmm.
Only a little bit.
It's like, so you're saying that you were doing penetration testing on Microsoft servers because they fucking NAT'd the shit, man. If they had bridged it, I would have been working in my own lab on my own network. So what you're saying is it's Microsoft's fault. So I decided to use their servers. I mean, is that so wrong? Yes. Yes, sir, it is. It's actually against the law. Okay, but aside from that, is that really so wrong? But yeah, so any pen testing that I do, I have to grab my laptop and pull that up and do it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I mean, at least that does have its advantages because, you know, it's got Wireshark on it and such. So
Right.
you can do a little bit of, ooh, I wonder how good their encryption is on this one. Click. And I'm sorry, I mean, if you're just using WEP, then it's kind of like just not having any kind of encryption at all.
Yeah, some of that older stuff especially is really not effective anymore.
No, WEP, if I remember correctly, and it's been many, many moons since I have actually been practicing. But I believe that nowadays WEP can be cracked in like under a minute. Like you can basically just connect to that, or not connect, but attempt to connect to the network and sniff it.
Mm-hmm.
And you gather up the data packets, run a scan through them, and I think it takes it under a minute. And this was like several years ago.
Yeah, I just looked it up because I was curious. WP was deprecated in 2004 and has been considered compromised since 2005.
Yeah. But from what I understand, they can even go after WPK and WPK2 pretty easily now as well. But I haven't really delved into it that much.
Yeah, I've not looked into a whole lot. I think WPA2, there's a vulnerability in it that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Not quite as to the same degree as like WEP was compromised, but
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
yeah.
Alright, gang, I am back. Sorry for the wait.
He's here.
No problem.
My first Olivia called to say goodnight, and then
And then you had to have phone sex. We understand.
yeah, you know, just normal things. Just got to do what you got to do. But, no, my sim partner, the guy that I'm gonna be going through the rest of the training with, was calling me to ask about some stuff for tomorrow. So.
Mm-hmm.
had to answer those questions, and then he reminded me of a few things that I actually forgot to do. So that was nice.
Get those out of the way real quick.
It's just some silly little forms I need to fill out on the employee website. So nothing all that important. But anywho, so what happened while I was away? Did we successfully deceive the town speaker to giving us a home?
Yes and no.
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
Kind more to the yes side.
We at least got free rent. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, more or less, kind of in a roundabout way.
Yes, no.
Okay, all right. So
Maybe a little more towards the no.
So, basically, Wayfo was completely honest with the speaker explaining the situation, and he was like, well, but we need verification that she was dead.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I suppose we could go back there and like break off a hand or her head. I really don't know what you need. And he was like, well, generally like a body or, you know, a written document stating that, you know, ownership has been transferred over, that kind of thing. And then, you know, it's like, well, okay, but we're actually staying there. And he's like, oh,
right,
she gave you a key?
Right, yeah. And
and
that was when it was dead silent.
Yeah.
And then Jenkins is like, oh, yeah, we've got a key.
Yeah, and so Jenkins is now trying to find a locksmith. And Wayfo came back and basically flat out just asked Filtrum, hey, do you know of a way to fashion a key and then break it off in the lock?
Yes, so that is where we are at.
Okay, gotcha. Can I roll advantage for this? The Professor Orb, since he might be a knower of crafting?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Sweet. Would this be more of like a sleight of hand thing, or would this be, do you think?
Just give me a straight intelligence check.
Sweet. That one I should be able to do pretty confidently. Ability check with advantage on intelligence is 12.
And I do have artisan's tools. I don't know if that would be useful, but
it might be. I'm gonna double check just to see for sure. What's in artisan's tools?
There's a new, you guys have seen, but there's a new flavor of Dr. Pepper. It is like a wild berry Dr. Pepper. Tried it for the first time today. It was actually pretty tasty. It's kind of weird, but pretty tasty. And I also tried this new flavor of Coke. It's called Starlight Coca-Cola. It says space flavored on the side, but it kind of just tastes like they took a little bit of Skittles extract and just dripped it into the Coke.
Huh.
Like a weird Skittles like aftertaste to it, but other than that, it's kind of just like a regular Coke, I guess.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
that does sound extremely weird.
Yeah.
And I think the artisan's tools are the specific tools for my brewing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say artisan's tools is not a thing in and of itself. It's a category of other tools. So your brewer's tools are your artisan's tools.
Gotcha. Okay. That does not help. Not at all.
Not particularly.
Yeah, I don't know if you can brew me up a set of keys.
I mean, I could brew up something that would make you believe that you had a set of keys.
You drink it after this, you might see a set of keys.
Right?
Classic.
Hell, you might see a set of keys being held by a pink elephant.
Hey, man, you do that and get the town speaker to drink some, we should be off the hook, I think.
Right?
Oh, we'll say with your 17, even without, Wayfo's brewer supplies, you're able to come up with a pretty convincing fake key that could be smashed into the door. Broken off. Because keep in mind, these aren't our modern, pin tumbler keys and locks. It's probably more skeleton key-like. And, shoving some metal in there and smacking it with a hammer is probably not too far off of, a skeleton key shattering from being too brittle in the cold or something.
Oh, yeah, and I was going to say we could also, and maybe this would be something that could work with brewer's supplies, but I would assume that alchemy would probably be better at it, of finding something that could wear the metal, pretty quickly and make it look like it had just become old and brittle and, fell apart due to use.
For me.
Let's see. You probably need something acidic to do that.
Vinegar would obviously be the, primary choice.
Yeah, the shop in town probably has some vinegar. You could buy a jug of it for a silver piece.
Okay.
We are doing all this to then show town speaker. Here's the key. This is already a lie that we have effectively established. So we already tell them that we broke the key.
We haven't told them that we broke the key yet.
We haven't told the speaker that we've broken the key. We're going to get a locksmith to fix the quote unquote broken lock.
Yes,
and then
because
if the
that
speaker
conveniently
asks, we'll have a
happened.
key. Yes.
Yeah, that conveniently happened when we got back.
Right.
Makes sense. We're setting up a trail of plausible deniability, effectively. I got it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just to buy us enough time for us to eventually get back over there and find the corpse.
Or just wait the timer out and basically just get given the house or buy it on auction or whatever.
Yeah.
Here for 12 years.
6 months to a year.
6 months to a year.
Not that long. Especially if we're going to be living in it for the whole time, so.
Yeah. Alright, well, consider the lock jammed.
All right.
Jam on it. Jam on it.
So, you jam up the lock. And you find the one. The town doesn't have a proper blacksmith, as it's just so small. No one can hold that job full time around here. But
I
you
heard
do find
East Haven might have one. We can go check there.
you do find someone who does deal with it enough that he could do what you are wanting done.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, I'll explain to him that, hey, the house keyhole broke. The key got jammed in it. We need it replaced.
Huh. Sounds like quite the job. It'd be a gold piece for time and supplies. You got that?
Oh, but of course. That's no problem, and I'll hand him a gold piece.
Perfect. He comes over, takes a look at it, and you try and force it in there? It's been a long time since I've seen a lock this bag.
Almost like somebody tried to break it in there.
Say, I'll just fess up and say, well, I had quite a few glasses to drink before going home one evening, and I've gotten a little carried away when the lock wasn't agreeing with me, you see.
And I will offer him a shot of my Dwarven spirits. I brew this.
Maybe once I'm done, I'll take a swig of that.
You're welcome to. It helps fight off the cold.
But he goes picking at the lock, trying to grab chunks out of there, and he ends up just breaking the entire lock mechanism out and shoves a new one in that he happened to have laying about. It was quite rough shape that it was in,
Yes.
but this should do you much better. And he sticks the key forward in and turns it, and it seems to be working all right. You didn't mess it up bad enough that it won't work.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Would you be able to make some copies of the key for us?
Yeah, it'll take me about a day to file them out. And another gold piece.
Of course. Thank you.
Alright, is my foot paying the gold, or shall I pull the gold for it?
You go ahead.
Okay.
That way
I'll
you can
pull
get
up the
rid of some of your, like.
That's true. I'll just have to go to a converter at some point. I'll go to
Yeah.
a bank in a bigger city and convert all of it.
So he takes the single key and goes back to his place, and the next day he'll get to work on filing out a new key.
Sweet. We have a temporary home sweet home.
The arrangements are quite fitting.
Now, in the meantime, what do you think our next plan of attack should be? Trying to get over to that city? Or
I believe that
the
seems to
cave
be
network?
the cave network does seem to be the next logical plan of action, I dare say.
Is that what you guys were already planning to do beforehand?
Wait till it's down to clown.
It did seem to be the next most important, well, situation that could use our attention in the area.
Are you wanting
there-
to head directly there, or do you have other stops you want to make along the way?
Well, that I am not sure. Does anyone else have anywhere they would like to go?
Well, it depends on if it's if like there's towns along the way to where we have to go. I'm loading up Icewind Dale right now. Like, where is it that we need to go?
Far to the northeast, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the little red arrow by the
Okay,
Ragged
copy.
Glacier. Yeah, that one.
And Calvin's Cairn is a dwarven community, correct?
That's a mountain, or
Oh,
a
okay.
large.
That's
hill.
where the dwarves were at. We met the dwarves in the Dwarven Valley when they were
Oh,
leaving.
Seer Koenig is the dwarven, or Care Koenig,
Yeah,
I should say,
yeah.
is the.
It
But,
was.
that's the one that got destroyed.
Yeah, that was.
Okay, so there really isn't.
The closest one would be Caer Dinevel. That would be like quote unquote on the way, and it's not necessarily on the way. It's just less out of the way.
Yeah.
You gonna go
So,
get the dogs in Bryn Shander, or you guys not care about doing that?
I think that's actually the smart way to go because
It'll be a long
otherwise
travel.
it will
Yeah.
be a very long travel.
This is kind of my thoughts as well.
I recommend that we go down to Bryn Shander, get any fresh supplies that we need, get our doggos, and then head up there.
Copy that, Coach Cheese. Works for me.
And might be able to swap out your coinage too.
Yeah, maybe. Not a bad plan of action, I don't think.
We can also check on them after, you know, the horrible dragon attack and such, and see if they've maybe taken in quite a few refugees and if they need any assistance with anything, that kind of stuff.
Check in, see what the hap is fucking, and move on, right?
Exactly.
All right. Are you going to wait around for your keys to be
Yes.
delivered? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keys
So,
He
first,
knows.
travel
Mhm.
next.
so it's about midday when those keys are ready.
Excellent.
He comes by and drops them off and heads on his way.
And of course, we'll get his name, whatever it happens to be, so that we know if we need like any smithing done or anything like that, we'll go to him.
Mhm.
This guy's gonna become our criminal contact.
I was thinking more like, legit smithing needed, but sure.
Or legit criminal contact.
The other thing that we could do, just a thought, Tourmaline got damaged
Correct.
and got wiped out, I think, or just damaged. I'm not sure.
Damaged, not completely destroyed.
Okay, so we could also, if we were wanting to, because I mean, this is kind of Wayfo's thing, is when we stop off at Tourmaline, we could try to help them out a little bit with doing some rebuild work, that kind of thing, or see if there's anything in particular that they're struggling on, that maybe they need food supply or something like that. Because then we could go down to Bryn Shander, get the dogs loaded up with like a ton of extra food, and drop it off at Tourmaline before we take off into the wild.
Sure.
Yeah,
For me.
works for me.
And I mean, while we're there, we can find out if anyone who died dropped any good loot.
Hell yeah. See if the town's been picked over yet or not.
It's been a
That's the
while,
weirdest-
but
It was the
Maybe
weirdest
not.
thing. This one young child fell over and a +3 sword fell out of him. Not exactly
Yeah.
sure what was going on.
where do you even get that?
Where was he keeping it? That's what I want to know. Sword was like 4 feet long. He was 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah. Must be magic.
Well, obviously, I said it was a +3 sword.
So you guys head out
Yeah.
about midday. Make your way over to Tourmaline.
Or Tourmaline. You have been slightly shit-wrecked.
Ever so slightly.
By this point, it's probably been a couple weeks since the dragon attack.
Right.
Most
So how are they getting along?
Poorly.
all considered, not too bad. Most of the destroyed buildings and the damaged buildings have been cleaned up. Anything that was lightly damaged has been pretty well repaired already, just to maintain its function. Some of the buildings they've started to rebuild.
All right. Well, I think the first thing we should do is stop off at the town hall and ask them if there's any help that they're in dire need of. The basics: food, clothing, shelter, repair work, anything of the sort, or, if there's wild animals that have been coming in because of the corpses, etc. Any lonely young widows that need consoling?
Yeah, the works, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we got Jenkins with us.
He'll smooth things over with the maidens.
Yup. While he's smoothing over the bed sheets to lay them on.
Mm-hmm. So you guys head over to town hall and find town master Oris is organizing townspeople for the day's work, or I guess actually probably later in the day. So he's going over reports of the work done today and preparing notes for, what to prioritize the next day and such.
Okay.
As you ask him about what might need done, he looks over his notes. Oh, well, there's nothing. I mean, there's always work that needs done. Don't get me wrong. But I think at this point there's nothing urgent. No one's having to sleep outside. Nobody's going hungry at night.
Excellent.
We wouldn't consider. There are people that aren't living comfortably yet, or as comfortably as they were. But we're getting by.
It's good to hear. But if you do need any assistance, please let us know. We're about to be making a rather long journey. And I'll explain to him we're heading all the way across the friggin' tundra.
I don't think there's anything unless you're just going to want to wait around and haul a, sled load. Typically have an order prepared. We've been doing a couple, twice a week, but it'll be about 3 days before the next one's ready. From Bryn Shander.
Well, we're actually headed down there. So if it's close to being done, we can wait around a day or two and then drop it off on our way.
Yeah, like I said, it's a couple days still. It's up to you if you want to wait for it or not. I mean, we do have people that have been making those trips regularly, so it's not like it won't get here otherwise, but...
No, we would be happy to. Right, guys?
Indeed.
Sure.
Our pleasure, as they say.
Although, not really. Most of his pleasure comes from books.
That's, well, it's presumptive, but he is right.
Well, with that, if it's later in the day, we'll probably see if we can find an inn to crash at, and then make our way down.
Yeah.
Bright and early the next day.
Yeah, it is a bit late in the day, so you guys head over to the east side and grab some rooms for the night. Being that you're not breaking and entering into a house tonight, that room will cost you 5 silver pieces per person. So 2 gold pieces for a lot of you.
Okay, I'll throw down. How many silvers and a gold?
10.
10.
I'll throw down 40 silver. Start wearing out that a little bit.
Spread the love. Spread the love.
About the old war bonds.
Yup. And so, yeah, after that, we'll head straight down to Bryn Shander.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that we're going to be taking a load up to Tourmaline. And then get that hauled up because even though they have people doing regular runs, somebody throwing in just one extra load can really make a difference, especially, you know, in an environment like this, as rough as things have been for these guys.
You make a fine point. He can really make a difference.
Well, and I mean, that's Wayfo's whole thing. You know, he is a Drizzt Do'Urden fanboy, and so like he kind of models his life after that. Oh yes, we must just make a difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if he ever, you know, finds a figurine of wondrous power, he's going to squee like a little girl.
Yeah, so you guys head down and you do end up having to wait for a couple days.
Maybe about it. I was going to say maybe about a day, because it's going to take us 2 days to get down there, isn't it?
Let me
On
pull up.
foot.
Where's my travel times? Somewhere in here I've got that.
Well, maybe not. Maybe it's a day. It's a little over 8 hours or 8 miles. It looks like. No, I'm figuring we could probably do 2 miles an hour at best.
No, it's actually quite a bit slower than that in most cases.
Oh, okay.
Oof.
With a good dog sled, you're looking about a mile an hour over good terrain. On foot, a half mile an hour is generally considered a good pace.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, it would be 16 hours of travel. So I would say that would have to be 2 days.
Yeah, that's a
reasonable estimate.
yeah. So about 2 days down to Bryn Shander.
Okay.
And once you're there, it's 2 more days of waiting because they're a day late getting the load together.
Okay. We'll stay at, you know, whatever widow's residence that Jenkins has hooked us up with.
Is he just the established playboy at this point already?
I mean, he's a bard, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Suppose you are right. He does have the silver tongue.
I do. I am very persuasive.
he has a silver tongue and he is a bard. It is kind of a requirement for the bard to try to seduce anything that moves.
Honestly,
I didn't think about that.
I saw that keg shaking in an earthquake, and I do like alcohol.
Oh.
I just walk out. Don't drink the ale tonight.
Let's see. There will be some costs for your stay here. 2 days at the inn. Plus. Do you guys remember now if you paid your dog's stay last time you came through? Like paid in advance a bunch?
Yeah, I think we paid for like a week. but I think it's been a couple of weeks, so we probably owe for another week.
Yeah, so we'll say between rooms, food, and dogs, room and board for an extra week. We'll say 7 gold pieces for all of that.
All right, I got that. I'm still knocking out that silver.
Sweet.
I'll drop it like so it. You said 7 gold.
Yeah, 7 gold.
All right, so I'll drop 70 silver.
All right, so we will wait around for the couple of days, get the load set up. Wayfo will spend some quality time with the dogs, making sure they're happy and healthy, giving them lots of love because Dalar is not here to do it for them. Well, he sort of is.
Pour one out for the homies. Like you hand him a mug and it just drops out. It's the equivalent of pouring it out.
You just kind of nod, yeah, like I did good.
Pour a little shot for each of the dogs. They're good guys. Drink up. But no, we'll wait around, get the load, and then take it up to Tourmaline. And then spend the night there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking we probably will take a route just skirting to the north of Kelvin's Cairn and boogie oogie oogie like we just can't boogie no more.
Do something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, from the looks of it, I'm taking a wild guess that this is probably going to be a close to a month's journey. So we're going to have a lot of food supplies.
I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah, we should probably get stocked up before we head out because we might not be having too much luck finding stuff on the trek.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's what, a little over 50 miles.
Yeah, depending on like the exact route, it's about 7 days of travel one way.
Yeah, I could see that.
Um,
Okay, so it's about a week's travel, not a month. So
It
we're
could
probably
be a month.
So we're probably, yeah, that's what I'm thinking is we should probably have a month's supply.
We go up there and back.
And 2 weeks. Yeah, it gives us a 2-week supply to explore in there. And, I mean, if we need more than that, well, then we're just shit out of luck. And if we don't need all that, who cares?
mm-hmm. So, stacking up for a long trip, assuming you want proper rations for the trip.
Yeah, that'll be necessary.
Yeah, so rations for 4 people for 30 days. It 2 gold pieces for the group per day. So 60 gold for you guys.
So
Plus you'll need
silver.
food for the dogs.
All right, I paid the 600 silver for that. So let's see how much we'll need for the dogs.
There's probably they'll eat more food, but it can be cheaper food. We'll round it off, say 40 for them. Okay. So a nice round 100 gold pieces for a month of supplies.
So you said 100 gold, so 1,000 silver?
Yep.
Ooh. We're going to need a little bit more money being spent. We're going to have to hire 2 people.
Trying to meet a quota?
No, yeah, basically. We're going to have to hire 2 people there in Tourmaline to travel with us to tend to the dogs while we're out.
That's fair.
Yeah, that might not be a bad
Make a
idea.
plan. Make sure the dogs aren't harmed or starve or run off or something.
Yeah, because if we're giving them like an additional 2 weeks supply of food while we're going in there to research stuff, we're going to find a group of dogs laying there with bloated bellies that are about dead because they will eat all the fucking food that they can, throw up, and then eat the throw up.
That's a valid point.
Die.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then,
Come up
and then
with
we're
a bunch of dead
dead.
dogs.
Yeah.
And so if we have one person to tend to the dogs, that's the dogs protected. But then if you have two people, the two people can actually watch each other's backs as well as take care of the dogs.
That makes sense.
I do have a brain occasionally. But that's also
God damn it, use it more often.
right? But that is a little bit complicated. Can we just finger waggle and say 40 gold to hire the people and the additional food for them? Does that sound reasonable? Or do you think it'll be substantially more?
I think it was going to be slightly higher than that. I figure for that kind of work, you're probably looking about gold per person per day that you're hiring, plus the 5 silver per person per day. Month worth of supplies paid out in advance. You're looking about 90 to 100 gold pieces to get 2 people hired for the extended duration.
Okay,
yeah.
I want very, very skilled individuals. So Wayfo's plopping down 500 gold.
Jesus.
250 gold per person. You pick out your own supplies. We're going to be gone for approximately a month.
Yeah, you go from hiring the average labor hands around town, average guards, to you've got a line circling around the tavern of people wanting to interview for the job.
So yeah, so now we have to sift through all the applicants to find the best ones.
Not a problem, considering Wayfo has a very high insight.
Say I'll roll, or one of us can roll, but I'll aid whoever.
Yeah,
that
so
sounds good.
Wayfo, give me an insight roll with advantage to see how good you are at choosing from among the crowd.
Get double insight because I have a +6 to insight.
Oh, I've got a +5, so I mean, you could have made that roll if you want it.
That's alright. 20 is still quite good. So you definitely weed out all of the people that just hear about the sum of money and
showed up.
Yeah, the people who have never wandered around the frozen wastes and never fought monsters out there.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm hoping for us to pick up like a couple of nomads who occasionally go into town to, maybe get some odd job work and that sort of stuff, and they actually prefer to be out in the wilderness.
Yeah, they may not be of quite that nature, but you end up with 2 people who you're confident can hold their own, should they be attacked in the camp, and are absolutely not strangers to being out in the wastes for extended periods of time.
Excellent.
Deal.
And do we want to leave it there for the evening? And
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think this
do
will
the travel next week?
Yeah, and if there's any other last-minute preparations, we can make those now. Otherwise, I'll be out of town next weekend, but in 2 weeks we'll pick this up as you guys hit make your own trail for the Redhead Glacier.
I may be out of town that week. I'll let you know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
So, for sure not next week, maybe not the week after.
Yeah, tentatively out of town in 2 weeks. But then for sure I'll be back after that.
Well, I think we've gone through preparations A through G, so I think preparation H is next. So